If you want to go get your next 5 clients, whatever market you're in, and you want to increase your close rate by 39%, this is the video that I recommend you watch. We're going to go through really easy things that you can do to go get your 5 clients that I did when I built my real estate business and when I was in the alarm industry. This is also what I train realtors on, and it helps them go get quick, easy deals when they're in a pinch or when they're growing their business. All right, welcome back to the second episode here in May. This one's going to be really, really good. If you want to go get your next 5 clients, whatever market you're in, and you want to increase your close rate by 39%, this is the video that I recommend you watch and save for later. We're going to go through really easy things that you can do to go get your 5 clients that I did when I built my real estate business and when I was in the alarm industry. This is also what I train realtors on, and it helps them go get quick, easy deals when they're in a pinch or when they're growing their business. So make sure you save this for later. This is going to be a great episode. Before we jump into that, make sure you go back and watch the previous episode. There's a lot of fluff out there right now, all over YouTube, all over social media, a lot of gurus on all these different topics. And a lot of times you'll go and watch these videos and they're like an hour long. And it's like, oh my gosh, I just wanted to take 5 to 6 notes and be out of here. But it's so full of fluff and it's so hard to figure out which way you should go. And so make sure that you, one, go watch that previous episode, because I'm going to give you a list of 15 mentors or 20 mentors that have helped impacted my life. Remember, attention comes from the energy. Energy flows where attention goes, according to Tony Robbins. And you have to get really good at putting your attention on the right people. If you put your attention on the right people, they'll help you grow your business and yourself, because you're your greatest asset. And so you got to follow, let's say 15 to 20 people versus 15 to 20,000. Don't get distracted by going so many different ways. Go make a list of mentors that can parasocially help you by you listening to their podcast, their YouTube content, and following them on social media versus going and listening to everybody. Don't do that. So go back and watch that previous episode. Also, if you watch that one, we started a new book for the month of May. This quarter, we're focusing on leadership. Remember, you got to keep your education at the forefront of your business. You got to keep your earning and your learning at the forefront of everything you do. And a lot of times, salespeople just aren't sharpening the saw. They're not growing. And success leaves clues. And all I got to do is go read this one book, develop that skill set that took this person 30 years to develop and write into a book. And I can read it and apply it in under 24 hours. So go read as much as you can. The average American reads less than one book, and it's the magazine at the grocery store. If you're one of those people, I see you. The average CEO reads 55 books. So the difference is simply education. Last year, I read 144 books. It was incredible. That's why I came up with the idea of a book club. And that's why in the new coaching platform and on the brokerage team, we have a book club. If you want the packet, this is the first video you're watching of mine. I have an ebook on the book club. So make sure you comment that. There's 3 other ebooks that I'm going to give out today. Make sure you hang tight and comment those phrases below. I'll respond back to, and then shoot me a text and I'll get you those ebooks. But make sure you're following along. Simon Sinek is one of the goats of leadership. This is one of his keynote books, Start With Why. If you can get really good at helping your buyers and sellers and investors and those that you work with understand the dream outcome, and it's so clear because you painted it so good, then they'll be more inclined to want to act and want to do because you're really good at painting that picture. You're starting with the end in mind. You're starting with the why, then the how becomes easy. If you guys follow Jeff Mendez and his podcast, Live a Life by Design, he talks about the bigger the why, the easier the how. Same thing with your clients, same thing in sales. If you can really get good at painting the why, then the how becomes so easy. If your clients are stuck on the how, you're just not that good at painting the why. So make sure you hop on and go and check out that book. All right, let's jump into this. So these are 5 tips that I'm going to give you to go get your next 5 clients. They're super easy. And a lot of times we don't talk about this. When I first got into real estate, I was told, hey, go build out your COI list. And it was pretty vague. And it was just whoever you know, put them in a list. And so I did. And I popped a couple deals right from that. It was super easy. And so now when I work with realtors or I work with people on the brokerage team at Real or in the coaching platform, this is an easy technique that you guys can come in, take notes, get out. I promise you that if you do these things, it increases the likelihood that you'll do more business. All right, step number one, go grab your email database. If you use Gmail, Yahoo, or you're that funny realtor or salesperson that uses AOL and you're still paying for it, I don't care what you use, go grab your entire list and export all the emails and all the names of those people. Put them on a list. The second one, go grab your social media accounts, your Instagram, your TikTok, your Facebook, your YouTube, and pull all the people that you follow and put them on a list. Export it, use a VA, I don't care how you do it, pull them out on a list. Then the other one would be use your phone. Grab your phone. You probably have hundreds of phone numbers from high school, all the way dating back to high school in there. Pull them all out on one list. What you're going to do is you're going to compile those lists onto 3 different categories. You've got your email, you've got your social media, and you've got your phone. That's it. Step number 1. Now you have hundreds, if not thousands, of leads sitting in front of you. You have to see the people that you've interacted with over the course of your life as leads. Those people are going to buy, sell, or invest, or they know someone that is going to. So you don't have to be a great salesman. You don't have to door knock. Don't do anything. Just simply go compile this list. If you hire out or use a software, you can have this done in 24 hours, or do it yourself and do 2 or 3 hours a day. After 7 days of work, of actually grinding, you'll have this entire list done. So that's step number 1. Go compile your list. Step number 2 is focus on the platform that you have the most on. So whether it be Gmail or your email or your social media or your phone, whichever one, start with the one that you have the most. Let's say it's Instagram. I'm going to leverage Instagram and go all in until I get through that list first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up, let's say, John's profile. I'm going to pull up John's profile. Him and I have followed each other from high school, but we haven't talked in 10 years. I'm going to go look at his profile and find a way to personalize it. This is step number 3. I'm going to find a way to connect with him or her because it's been a minute. So you don't want to be that awkward realtor that I just got my license, or, hey, are you thinking about buying or selling? Like in sales, there's a barrier to entry. You're trying to get rid of that, to eliminate it as much as you can so that it's not awkward. You want the response rate to be high. So when you reach out, you want them to respond back. So go look at their post. If they had a recent baby, or they moved, or they possibly had a job relocation, or they just ran a marathon, or something that you can connect them with, go find whatever that is and use that in the DMs. The DMs are where the money is. A lot of you have money just sitting there in your social media profiles because you're not leveraging the DMs. You're not coming across as a human. And so what I would do is go look at their profile, pick one of their posts or reels, and send it to them in their DMs. And then what you're going to do is you're going to say, hey, John, congrats on the new baby. It's been a minute since we've chatted. How are you? Just wanted to reach out and connect. Super simple. Start the conversation. Very, very easy. You have to look at this as you're connecting with a human. You're connecting with someone who used to either be a really good friend of yours, a roommate, a neighbor, a family member, whoever, but go to them first because the barrier to entry is so low. And then use the DMs to connect with them. What I've done recently that's worked really well is send a voicemail or a voice message to them. So in the DMs, after you send them one of their posts and after you connect with them, use your voice. People buy from people. And so this could take maybe 30 seconds per person that you reach out to, and just say, hey, it's so good to hear from you. Thanks for responding back. Yeah, life's been crazy. We did this and we did that. I'm so glad that, we reconnected, blah, blah, blah. That's it. 30 seconds. Send that to them. And then right at the end, what you're going to do is you're going to catch them off guard. You're going to ask them, hey, I'm trying to help 15 more families this year. Or, hey, I'm in the real estate business. Didn't know if you knew we moved to St. George, Utah, and I'm looking to help another 8 families relocate here or move within the area. Who do you know? And you're going to go right for the referral. One of the best books on this, on referrals, if you're not good at this, or it comes across awkward asking your database for referrals, is go and read Paul McCord's book, How to Make $1 Million a Year in Sales Revenue Through Referrals. And really just memorize the content in that book and get really good at understanding how referrals work. If you ask each of these people for a referral, they all have a database of about 250 people. Let's say I ask 10 people for a referral. That's 2,500 people that you get exposure to. You're telling me that out of the 2,500, there's not one that's thinking about buying, selling, or investing either in your local market or in another market that you can refer to. It's just crazy that there's so many realtors that have all these deals just sitting there and we're not leveraging them. So how the strategy works, it's really, really simple. So all you're going to do is say, hey, who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, or invest here in this market or somewhere else? They're going to say, I don't know. The brain is like a filing cabinet. So now you're going to start telling it where to go pull the files from. Well, just out of curiosity, is there anyone that maybe had a new baby looking to upsize, friends of yours that are renting looking to buy their first home, or possibly someone that just got a job relocation? People move, especially in this market, off of situations. So tell their brain to go into their 250 people database and pull out whichever one they know. Now, if they don't know anybody, totally cool. Right at the end, you can ask, hey, well, how are you guys thinking about possibly making a move in real estate by the end of the year? Is there anything I can do with you? That part right there is so subtle. You've re-engaged with them. You got them to raise their hand and come to the table, and you asked for a referral and asked for them. That is a good way to go push your business. I think my first couple deals throughout my first 75, my first year in real estate, came from literally just leveraging the database. And again, most of your business will come from outbound prospecting, aggressive ways to prospect. Door knocking, open houses, physical expires, investors, all that stuff. But this side, you can't neglect because it's such low-hanging fruit and they're already people that you've interacted with. If you need 5 deals, this is the strategy that I would go chase. Now, number 4 is, let's say there's 100 people you go out a day. You have 3,000 people in your database. That means in 30 days, I can go through my entire database, and you're telling me that out of 3,000 times 250 per person, no idea what that number is, but that big number over here, you're telling me that you can't go get 5 people out of that? You should be getting about 50 to 100 referrals. And then as you contact these people, you should be able to go get 5 people fairly easy. And a really good acronym that I learned from Ormozy on this approach is the ACA. So if you guys want to write this down, it's acknowledge, compliment, and ask. So acknowledge the situation in their life, compliment them, and then ask for the referral. You don't have to come across as cringy, as a used car salesman, as something where they're not going to want to engage with you. You can do this in a very natural way in the DMs, through the emails, and through your phone book. All right, so step number 5, the last step, and then we'll go into how to close more deals. The last step is to categorize these people from leads to engaged leads. Engaged leads are those that raise their hand, that engage back with you. And so make sure you just follow up on this. Once you build this massive list and you aggressively go through it for 30 days, start categorizing people off of who engaged and who hasn't. And those that haven't, you should have about an hour a day for the rest of your career to go through your database. Whether a new listing just hit, whether you just got one, or maybe you have a new buyer, you can push that as a why to reach out to you. And this will help you always go get that low-hanging, repeatable referral business, whether you're in real estate or whether you're in sales. All right, so part number 2, how to increase your close ratio by 39%. And yes, I did not make that up. It's 39.22%. I'm just kidding. I made that up, but it's 39% if you can do these things. I'm seeing realtors and salespeople all over make these mistakes. I'm going to give you practical advice really, really quick so that you can go and increase your close ratio. Because again, remember, I'm all about the volume. Go brute force your way through this. When I first got into real estate, it was brute force. When I got into alarm sales, it was brute force. Volume at speed. But it was also, I was getting better. And I was improving and working on my skill set and getting better at my craft. And so as I did volume, my close ratio also went up. So I closed more volume. A lot of real estate agents don't see themselves as salespeople, so they don't practice these things. A lot of salespeople aren't practicing, and so they forget these closing techniques. And so make sure you can get really good at these. If you look at this triangle, at the top is 3% of the people you interact with are ready right now. whether you prospect, FSBO expired, door knock, cold call, open house, use social media, use the method we just talked about, reaching out to your database. If you do any of that, there's about 3% of the people you engage with that are actually ready right now. Now, if you look at the rest of the triangle, that massive chunk over there, they are not ready. They're not ready. It doesn't matter how good you are at closing. It doesn't matter what techniques you use. They're just not ready. But what's happening is a lot of salespeople and a lot of realtors, and I've made these mistakes as well, is we're trying to close the unclosable. You're trying to close people that have situations, that have circumstances that are outside their control. And so then you think, I just didn't close them, or I'm not pushing people across the table. Well, yeah, no, duh. Their situation is so intense that you can't close them. So let's say there's 100 people that you try to close. Let's say 70 of them have situations that are unclosable. Now you have 30 people. So out of the 100, your closing ratio just went through the roof because now you're focusing on the right people. You've got to get really good at discerning motivation and timeline. Consumers act off of current pain or fear of future pain. So all these leads that you just got from your social media, from your phone book, from your email, this whole database you just created, make sure you're focusing your conversations on timeline and motivation. Remember, just like there's a pebble in your shoe, if it's big enough and it annoys you enough, you'll take it off. In sales, that's pain. Pain causes people to move, to go search for solutions, outcomes to their problems. And so you've got to get really good at discerning this person I'm talking to right now. Are they motivated? And what's their timeline? If they're not motivated and their timeline's too far off, cut them out. Don't waste your time on them. Sales is an efficiency game. Go to the next person. So that is the number one thing that I would recommend you get good at, is just being efficient. You've got to get really good at being efficient. Stop wasting time with those that you just can't close. And even the top closers wouldn't be able to close them because something with their situation or their motivation is just so low. A lot of inexperienced realtors and salespeople will waste time on appointments with people that are literally at a 1 out of 10 on motivation, and their timeline is like 3 or 4 years out because it makes them feel good that they got the appointment. Don't do that. X those people out. The next thing that you need to get good at to increase your close ratio is find or create pain. Remember, just like I had mentioned, people move or act as consumers off of pain. Why do we go to the grocery store? Because there's pain we got to feed ourselves. Why do we go to Best Buy? Because there's pain. We need a solution. So we're always shopping for solutions. And so you've got to get really good at whoever you're talking to, figure out their pain. What is the issue? What's their big current problem? If you're talking to people at the door, is it the HOA? Is it the size of the house? Is it the walls are too thin? If you're talking to people in the DMs, then bring that up as well. Like, go look at their profile. What is the perceived pain that they're probably experiencing? If there is no pain, then create the pain. Buyers and sellers and investors are literally the same since the beginning of time, and they will never change. They move and sell and invest for the same reasons. Nothing changes. And so if there is no pain, you can bring up the pain to see if it causes enough pain for them to want to change their situation. So what is that? That could be appreciation, things getting more expensive, inflation costs. That could be not getting leverage from sellers in a buyer's market. And when it changes to a seller's market, they now miss that. And that fear of future pain like worries them, or getting rate buy downs right now, or possibly like the HOA is killing them and they didn't know that, like cost wise. I was knocking out in Orlando recently, and there's one HOA that had 2 HOAs, and a lot of people didn't know about the second one. So we brought that up, and it caused like a lot of frustration with the HOA, which then caused this desire to possibly move. So if there is no pain, create the pain and see if it'll cause enough inclination to get them to move. The third skill I'd get really good at to increase your close ratio is get really good at storytelling. Get good at painting the picture of the dream outcome. And again, that's why this book is so good, Start With Why by Simon Sinek, because it teaches you how to go heavy on the why, on the dream outcome, on the ideal scenario for your client. Because again, the bigger the why, the easier the how. If you can paint that beautiful picture and it just gets them so excited, then the how becomes so easy. They'll fix the how. if the picture is painted so clearly. A confused mind will always say no. That's something I've learned from Taylor McCarthy over the years. And he teaches that because, again, if there's any complexity or blurriness or some type of cloud up here on the dream outcome, or it seems too difficult, then that's usually where people feel anxious and they stop and they don't move. So if you can eliminate that and paint this beautiful picture, more people will move, and that'll increase your close ratio. A lot of times your listing presentations and everything a lot of you are doing is too complicated. If you feel like that's the case, then join our role play group. It's $200 a month if you don't want to join the full-on coaching or the brokerage team. We role play twice a day, and every afternoon we practice the listing presentation because that's where we get paid. This is a skill-based industry, and so come in and join our role play group. Comment role play down below in the comments, and I'll reach out to you, see if you're a good fit, and answer any questions that you have. If that's too much, join the brokerage team. It's completely free. We can train you and get you in those role plays for free. So if you're thinking about joining a new brokerage or a new team, come join ours and let's train you for free. All right, the fourth skill is really good. This is solving problems. You've got to get really good at being able to solve a problem. The best salespeople are the ones that solve problems, that can think outside the box. There's a really, really good book on this. It's called Seeing What Others Don't See. And it trains you on how to see things that a lot of people miss. And so simply helping others recognize solutions and helping them identify how to overcome their problems and bringing things up that they might not see will help you solve that problem. Because again, if they had the solution in front of them and they had the pain, they would move, they would sell, they would act, they would engage in the market. But sometimes it's just they don't have the solutions. So go figure out what builders have the best interest rates. Go figure out what lenders have the best products, what neighborhoods have the best this and that. If you know all of that, then you can have the solution ready to go for the people that you talk to. So become an expert at your market. Know what's available. For me, I used to talk to lenders once a week and those at different title companies once a week. And I would ask them, what type of situations are you seeing that are causing people to buy, sell, or invest? What type of situations? What type of situations? And how did you solve that? Because then when I'm at the doors or when I'm talking to people or FSBOs and expireds, I have the solutions to the problems. And if they don't already have one, then I can bring it up or I could talk about the pain. So this might sound silly, but there's actually apps that you can download and they have games where you solve problems like puzzles or different type of activities that you have to think outside the box to solve that problem. Those activities are good for your brain. It teaches your brain to find solutions that aren't apparent to the naked eye. And so it pushes that part of the brain to go and figure that out. You've got to be able to sit with the customer and brainstorm and think outside the box. Because if both of you can do that, if you can really sit there and see things from different angles, then it'll allow you to figure out the solution that's on the other side. So get really good at solving the problems. All right, and the last one is preventing objections. Most of the best salespeople never get objections. A lot of times I'll get asked, hey, Jeremy, how do you overcome this objection in our role play sessions we do twice a day? And I'm like, to be honest, I haven't got that one in a minute. So let me think about that for a second. Because again, the top tiered salespeople, they're not in the objection handling business. And a lot of coaching platforms out there hammer that so much. But if you're good at presenting, painting the picture and creating the pain, and you bring up the objections before, you hit them before you get hit, then you won't have a lot of these, to be honest. You can go read all the great sales books on closing from Grant Cardone and Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar. All those books will help you so that you have those one-liners. You have this massive bag, like arrows in your quiver that you could pull out, and here's my one-liner, and here's how I solve that. But if you get good at playing chess, and bringing up certain objections in your presentations before it even comes up, that's where you absolutely go and crush it. I went out to Orlando recently and knocked with a bunch of realtors. And I told them after we were 20, 30 minutes in, I said, see how we're getting a lot of renters? So the objection we're getting is, oh, I'm a renter. And people think that's a way out. So let's bring it up first. And so we would knock on the door, say, hey, Jeremy with Real, sorry to bug you, be really quick. Are you the homeowner or are you renting? Oh, I'm renting. Oh, perfect. If you're the homeowner, you actually don't qualify. Anyways, the reason why I'm here, and you keep going forward. So I brought that up first, and now I'm in a position where that's not an objection and I can keep moving forward. So these are the 5 things that I would get really good at to increase your close ratio. Go try the first part. Go rewatch how to get your next 5 clients. Get a good database established. Go through the contacts and the people that you've already worked with, that you already have a relationship with. You just have to rekindle it, get them to raise their hand. Then use these skills to go and increase your close ratio. These 2 things will help you absolutely explode your business and take it off. All right, I hope you took a ton of notes. Go and review those. Go rewatch this episode and save it for later. So if you need 5 deals, or you're a new realtor, or you know someone that's new, send them this video so they can go create their database, go get low-hanging fruit, and also increase their close ratio. Next week, we're going to talk about 2 things that I'm seeing that's absolutely wrecking realtors, that's causing them to leave the industry. Same with salespeople. Don't do that. Fix these 2 things. In next week's episode, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to do an in-depth session on both of them so that it doesn't become a problem for you.